Good afternoon. How are you?
I'm okay, thanks. How are you?
I'm fine. How is life after active politics and the noises from parliament?
I can only say I didn't know retirement is so busy.
All right, Releboga. A lot of South Africans are concerned about the storm that is happening. Some of your personal friends are in the media. They've been taken from pillar to post. I just want to ask your feelings, because you understand parliament politics, your feelings regarding the DA and other political parties call to embarrass one of your own, to say even when we are at the sunset of this current parliament, to have the Speaker of Parliament resigning or being chucked out, whatever they call it. I want your sentiments. What is it that you want to say to the rest of South Africa?
I can only say that I marvel. I just never tire to be surprised at how much we are bloodthirsty for each other's suffering. How we can be fueled by just defeating and destroying another human being based on nothing else but just your pleasure to see them come down. I guess that's the one thing I can say is an amazing one to me. Secondly, I think it's sad though, at the same time, that we use up so much of our energies and whatever resources we might have just to destroy each other. For no other purpose again, but the satisfaction of destroying the other person. Because when there's no basis for, like lies you read or you hear in the media in the morning that she has handed herself over, when there is no such. She has not handed herself anywhere. She's at her house. But there's a journalist who has indeed put that into words and has given that out to the public. And I'm saying, where's the pride of that person who's telling that lie to the public as though it's a truth?
So she was never arrested?
She was never arrested for what? That is the question. What would she be arrested for? Nobody has actually said anything except some person who doesn't sound like they're in their right mind, who's just dreaming up things and saying them. But Nosiviwe keeps saying, okay, we'll meet in court.
What do you think about the timing of this her being pursued, and in essence pursuing the African National Congress just when we are going to the elections?
I think what is even sick is the fact that Nosiviwe has said publicly she's not on the list. She made it clear to her provincial structures of the Eastern Cape that she's not available. She's said that to the ANC. She said it publicly that she is not on the list, she is not interested, she is not going back to Parliament. So what do people want? What is it except the satisfaction of destroying another human being?
So she's here to defend her legacy because, as you say, she was going into retirement. What do you think should happen as the matter stands? How long will it take for the ANC to suffer this current, because the 29th of May is going to be important. Political parties, like I said about the DA, they are going to use this until. What message can you give to your electorate?
The electorate should learn to study and understand the science, the details, the meanings, the values and things that are happening as they play themselves out in public. There's a lot that happens all the time. It's been happening for the past 3 decades. We now are getting at least more than being a young democracy. Now that we're 30 years old, were getting to become an adult, a solid adult democracy. Surely we've seen enough for ourselves to be able to study the science. We can't, when we just see any news item, think it's true and therefore she must step down, she must step aside, she must do this. Find out. Go check, come close to the truth and look for the truth. Look for the detail that gives the substance of what is being put to you. So we are being challenged as the public of South Africa to know who we are, to know our leaders, to know those that have served us and what is genuine and what is the devil's work.
Thank you very much. What is your sentiment regarding the MK party?
Oh, please don't ask me about that madness, because that is just one of the crazy things that's happening in the public domain. But South Africans are not fools. They know who's the real MK. They know what is the difference between the MK party and the real MK. And the real MK today, and our people that have supported us in the struggle for our, and with the help of MK, solid cadres, real MK like Comrade Mokwape, who was speaking today, General Mokwape, who was speaking today. You can hear his tone. That is something that is in his blood veins, what he is talking about. Uyikhabule for decades. Akayikhweli staff ngoba naku efuna ukuwina ama election.
IFP, violence in KwaZulu-Natal, MK.
The KZN issue of last weekend at the event, which was supposed to mark the anniversary of Dinuzulu, is very regrettable. And it is a great pity that it is on an important occasion like that, that something like scuffles that are politically inspired break out in a few dotted communities around KZN. It was wrong in the first place for the Prime Minister ukuthi afake ipolitiki, start being critical to the Secretary of the Province of the ANC in an occasion that had nothing to do with party politics. So that was regrettable. And it is regrettable that when then law or program director intervenes and in fact actually tries to put order in terms of this matter of the Secretary of the ANC in the province does not belong in an occasion la size khona uzogubha usuku lokukhumbula isilo late Dinuzulu. Then it is read as though he is the one who's wrong, when in fact he is intervening from the perspective of him chairing the occasion. And therefore, as the person who's presiding is creating some order and reminding people who are addressing that this is not the occasion to be critical of a party. It's got nothing to do with a party. It was a government occasion, and it's a pity followers afterwards don't even listen well enough to understand what were the issues. That is regrettable.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Other half between Jacob Zuma or Donald Trump?
I'm choosing JZ. JZ has a history of credentials.
Yes.
The same controversies that you speak about today, forget the political party. The same intelligence country that our black systems used to infiltrate the white systems. He was at the center of that type of thinking,
sure,
and engagement and intelligence. When you speak of Jacob Zuma, When you speak of Jacob Zuma,
Fairway 5.
who last now?
Yeah. Ergebo. Utlele 5I.
What's what if I find? I don't want a 5 wood. It's only back your ones.
Sure. So you are choosing him, you are choosing JZ over
Donald Trump.
over Donald Trump.
I know it's for the sake of the Chinese commercial.
Yeah.
But I hope it's the last you compare the two. Jacob Zuma ke powers.
Yeah.
Ke powers like credentials. Trump came into politics from business.
Sure.
Jacob Zuma doesn't have any other trade except for politics. He's a real struggle hero of our country.
He knows politics only.
Yeah, but I'm saying he's a real struggle hero of our country.
Sure.
He dedicated his entire life, not now, in the space of Twitter and social media. Before there was telephones, Jacob Zuma was who he is.
So people like
One other member who has definitely gone somewhere has made a political storm in South Africa, and I know mostly the seniors are not happy, those who were effectively the real MKs. Do you think the ANC is preparing differently these elections because of Jacob Zuma?
No, I don't think so. And again, I want to take you to what Comrade President Thabo Mbeki said. He said that every member of the ANC has got an obligation to campaign for the organization, which we all do. Similarly, every member of the organization joins the organization voluntarily. And when the organization, its direction, its strategy no longer align with that member's values, then by all means, members are free to go. And Mr. Zuma is no different in that regard. So what we've done as the ANC is to go out, speak to the people about our successes, speak to them about their aspirations for the future. And many people have actually said that now that they see that the ANC renewal process is on track, we've got elements that are leaving the organization, they're more than happy to once again commit their confidence and their vote to the African National Congress.
Talking to yourself now, where have you been?
Like President Mbeki, I never went anywhere.
I look so yellow.
I'm surprised. That's surprising. Mashiani politically correct. Messi Sudulikai. Straight ahead. The GNU. How does it make you feel?
What is that got to do with Nkandla? I mean, really?
I'm sorry if they gave you a wrong brief. I could not brief.
Okay, all right. No, they didn't give me a wrong brief, but I thought you would start with the present and then move on to the outer perimeters.
Apologies, I've already covered your speech in full.
Okay. What do I think of the GNU? There are certain things that come, not because we had planned them, not because we had thought they are the most, the best way out. And I think that we latched onto the GNU almost like clutching on straws. There's very little in the GNU, in my view, that would keep us together. And I was very vocal about this idea because right from the beginning I felt that, when you take a stand, a political stand, you need to live by it. And we've gone through a GNU in our history because the time was the time was right. But to go through it again, I did feel that it was stretching it a bit. Because by now, there are certain promises we have made to our people, there are certain expectations that are there, and having to compromise because of a position that you're in is not quite what I would have opted for at this time in our struggle. We've taken a long time to deliver to our people, and we need to take steps forward and up our game. So right from the beginning, I made my views clear that I don't think that this is the best way to get to where we want to get to. And I think that if we go alone, whichever way we go alone, we will get there faster. Dragging other people along who don't have the same ideological perspective as ourselves, I thought would delay our delivery of what we've promised our people. But that was then. And right now, I'm just looking around and seeing how it plays itself out. Because any merger, such as is expected of the GNU, calls for a compromise of your own position. And I don't think that I would have agreed to a compromise right now. Right now is testing time for our people.
to test our strength, to test our ability to deliver our commitment to what we've promised. But all along, we've got to make sure that the person who's next to us travels the same route with us. But if it gets to creating a kind of stable environment, well, there's very little I can say. But from my perspective, I would have wanted the ANC to use this last 10 years to deliver to our people. Our people have been waiting a very long time, and I would not want to find that at the end of this, they are not satisfied with what we're providing them. So I would have wanted what do our people want and how do we get it to our people. But then we had a meeting at the NEC, and we all agreed to compromise, and this is the compromise that we've agreed to.
Thank you very much. You have in the past stood firm and believed South Africa can be led by a female, something that we have all wanted. How ready do you think South Africa, through the ANC or in any other political party, are you going to achieve this dream of yours of seeing a female leading South Africa, not as acting president, in your lifetime?
Well, if we don't, we will have failed in our responsibility to our people. When we took the route of the struggle, we didn't differentiate between men and women. We were all equal. When we got to the field, the killing fields, we were all equal. We carried the same bags and knapsack that the males do. And there was no difference between us and them. And I would have thought that now would be a time that we raise a woman to the level of a president, because that is what we promised our people by being there to fight for the struggle. We didn't fight for a struggle for a man to take the uppermost place. We fought for equality. And I think that at some point we would need to work out what's in the best interest of creating the kind of society where we have equality between men and women, and this is reflected in what we do and in how we govern. So I'm hoping at some point that the men will sit back and say, let the best woman go forward and see how we deliver differently, because women have a sensitivity that men lack, especially when it comes to how they look after a society, how they look after their children. And perhaps we are ready for that. We are ready for a woman president any minute now.
Are you disappointed that the Women's League, all females in the ANC, could not support your various attempts at leadership?
Yes, I was disappointed. I was disappointed because I grew up understanding that we were equal. I left at a very early age to go to the camps and trained in the same way that the men trained. There was no difference. But I come home to find that we still have a long way to go to create the environment where people will understand that women are just as good, if not better, at running a country. And we've seen female presidents all over the world, and they certainly have drawn a great deal of admiration around the world. And I'm certain South Africa would have been long ahead of itself if they had tried a female leader. But that is for the electorate to decide. And I hope that there will be a time where there will be an even ground, where money is not the issue, where any kind of pressure is not the issue. And women should stand up to that and take the lead. We will be much better when they are there.
Thank you very much. In closing, there's a big split in the EFF,
Yes.
and a possible death of the EFF. How does it concern you as someone who wants Africans to unite?
Well, I have watched the developments, and I did think that when Zuma left the ANC to create a new party, that he would attract people who have the same vision as he has, and he certainly has attracted that in the EFF. I think it's a pity that we're losing out on the EFF as it was, because it was a very vibrant youth organization which brought a lot of vibrancy and all of that. But I think that they can inject the same vibrancy in the MK. And I wish President Zuma well, and I hope that he'll be able to attract them to him, because we cannot afford too many splinters within the the level of political parties. I think what we have now is enough. We don't want to have a ballot paper that is similar to the DRC with 40 candidates sitting there. We have a long way to go. We've suffered enough in our country, and we need to make sure that we can deliver to the people what we promise them. And the sooner that we get our act together beyond this fractionalization, the better it will be for everybody.
In one paragraph, if you were to teach a young girl who's going to grow up in South Africa to learn from Professor Nkandla, what is it that you do if you were to sum up one paragraph?
Dedication, commitment. He is a fervent member of the ANC. His heart is there. And in everything that he did, he put the ANC first. And I admired him for that. When I came from exile, and he was busy with my mother because he provided support for my mother, I could only admire him for his dedication to ensuring that the ANC does triumph. And we owe what we have to him and people like him. And I would have hoped that we would have had a state funeral for him. He is the kind of man that walked tall, and we appreciate everything he stood for. But as it is now, I hope that the family heals from what we're going through, because they would know by now just how much we cared for him. They would know by now how much he meant to us. And I hope them the best between now and few days to come. It's a difficult time for them, and we will keep close to them to make sure that they are able to take this last journey.
The spear organizations, MK, EFF and ANC, amount to around 66%. I'm putting this versus the GNU. I believe as an African person, these three-party spear organizations, they all told us they want things that benefit us. You land, redistribution of wealth, and everything that they preached before elections. What makes it difficult for these people, these three political parties, to unite and give us what they promised us?
Well, you must also understand that you may have organizations, but you have other people who have interest in those organizations. And those with greater interest, they co-opt the leaders of certain parties. So this is why some people talk about you having prepaid leaders who have to sing the tune of the paymaster. So if you have a business coming into the picture and business saying, we give you this amount of money to run for a leadership position, those guys are not giving you money because they happen to like you. They give you money because there'll be a payback time. They'll expect you to respond in kind to protect their interest. So we should not mislead ourselves into thinking that people will just come and give you a lot of money without expecting anything in return. That will be the height of folly. So the fact that the parties themselves may articulate the same things, you must also look beyond that. You must look at who is the funder. As they say, he who pays the piper plays the tune.
Thank you very much. You have summed up the GNU questions without me even asking it. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
You have survived not only this one. You were in the middle of the Nkandla issue where you were accused, and I think you have survived it. But there's a resurgence of the Nkandla issue where you spoke about security features, and your Secretary General, Comrade Fikile Mbalula, now is casting aspersions on the person of the then minister. What's your opinion about that?
Now, first, we must understand that I was appointed to be Minister of Public Works in 2011, late in 2011, to be exact, on the 30th of October 2011. That project of Nkandla had started around 2008. By the time I got in, it was already complete. The payments were being done. But that issue surfaced at the media level at that part, what did I do? I put a team to investigate, and the team came with recommendations. Fortunately, the recommendations they came up with were more or less the same recommendations which the public protector then, Thuli Madonsela, came up with. And those recommendations, I implemented all those recommendations. I charged the officials, and I didn't pay certain monies which were supposed to be paid. I refused. But there's only one recommendation which we did not come up with in our team, which said the president must pay. And it was the public protector who came with that particular recommendation. But what happened is, after that, I implemented all the recommendations of the public protector as they were, charging those people and so on and so on. But we need to emphasize this part, that other people are talking about a fire pool and so on. I never came up with the word fire pool. That came from the then Minister Nkandla. And now, when this thing is surfacing, I don't know what's the reason for that. Because we have implemented all that was recommended by the public protector. So insofar as I'm concerned, the matter was closed once we implemented that. And once the matter also went into Parliament, and then there was a particular view from the Parliament, and even in the courts, the matter was closed. I don't know why should it be reopened now.
Comrade Nkandla says he organized experts to give him a report, and in those experts they said that's a fire pool. I personally, it makes sense that if a house is on fire and there's water next to it, the water could quench could help the situation. Do you regard that pool not as a fire pool?
I don't want to be dragged into the security issues.
Thank you.
The security issue, which the specs which were done by the security departments, mine was just to implement. How they defend what was there, what was not there, and so on, that's not mine. I will leave it to them as the security departments to be able to explain it. That's it.
Thank you very much. Any message you want to say to the electorate of South Africa, given all the storms that are happening? One message that is strong that you want to give to your electorate?
I think the electorate must just judge us according to our record. If you look at what we have implemented over a number of years, we've been able to improve the lives of the South Africans. Yes, there are areas where we have not been able to do everything, but there are clear plans which have been outlined even in the manifesto of the African National Congress. And we are saying African National Congress is the only party which has a vision to take this country forward.
Thank you very much, Minister.
Thank you, sir.
What's your thought of MK? People are going to court now. Next week in Pietermaritzburg, Batlababalela logo, yeah, MK. What are your feelings as the SACP about that matter?
On the 6th of January, go Avalon, we put our statement clear. This is a stolen by logo, and we are not happy about that. That is Zuma, I want to put it clear. Today or fetuets or roots is a happy hap. MK ko roots. I thank you.
Comrade Mapaila said they gave him 5 targets when he took power. He failed in all 5. So if he has failed to do what you guys wanted him to do, as the Tripartite Alliance, for example, what punitive measures have you made to say this guy has failed and Arasam Matla? What is it that you guys have done while he was still with you? Because he's still a member of the ANC, by the way.
Yes, we have tried to show him we are failure onto this. But remember, political party, then, like for instance, PBEE, so Bemba Bayona, Banabasa Sabadi, Horna. Jacob Zuma waits saying, Sechava, Selori, Remukupilo Resetsor, Manabasi, their benefits. So, I think of the into to their benefit. That is why today re reng o face into that 5 principles.
So are you saying that those people who are saying black people were richer, black people had business during Zuma's era, you are saying those BEEs were corrupt? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, let me put it clear. Yes.
So as we speak, so as we speak, there are people who are saying Ramaphosa is targeting certain people. People are being arrested. Do you feel people are being targeted, or is the law of nature? Before Ramaphosa came, he said he's going to clean, he's going to get out people who are corrupt. Do you see him targeting people, or do you see the law of South Africa taking its course? People who are corrupted. Let me give an example. The Speaker of Parliament, she has been called to account. I want you to give perspective on that.
It's not Ramaphosa Kabuyena, the law of South Africa. Yes, Ubili Are is going to eradicate whatever is happening in our government. And it's true. The reason why today is because the pompotsa so people are angry of that because and then it's minority, not majority, minority of them. So bakwatile no, that is why they've come their own parties. Ntwe ndata Ramaphosa yetsang ha se yena yetsang ke se molao wa naha o reng o setse ha o utswa o utswetsa setjhaba o lokela hore o ye tronko. I thank you.
What is it that you can motivate South Africans about voting the ANC? People say they are tired. That's why you see white families, your Ruperts, your Oppenheimers, are giving people money to form new political parties. People are saying it's a sign. What sign is it, and what is it that you can motivate people to vote for ANC?
South Africa. Motho o mollo mong le lapa le leleng le na le ngwana wa lona re mitsa ka go ke le hlanya la teng. Ene le hlanya leo ha ona o lenka o le motswadi o le lahlele strateng. O tshwantse wena ka bo wena o lolokise. Ntho tse tsa lang ka ra ANC re a di tseba re di bone. Ha se nako ya hore no tsena re ngale mogahlo re mogahlo o ye mo yang teng. Ke nnete la bona di Ruperts di bula megahlo mo ho bula megahlo eo ho thusa di megahlo e mengwe.